What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Beatty, and today I just wanted to cover a few topics. I was debating on doing it like a Q&A format or whatnot. You know, at the end of every video, I ask you to leave questions, in the comment section or whatnot. And I was gonna do like a Q&A, but instead I'll just cover some of the questions that I've seen the most often, because sometimes we get a lot of the same questions just because when there's a lot of comments, people sometimes just don't look at the other comments. I just wanted to cover like the comments I see the most often. The first one that comes to mind is that I felt like people didn't completely understand what I was explaining in the first video, the Day I Almost Died video, the one that I dropped a few weeks ago now. I feel like a lot of people didn't get the point I was trying to make, and I feel like a lot of people didn't really understand what happened. I feel like a lot of people kind of just came to their own conclusion of what happened. I'm not sure if people didn't watch the whole video or they kind of just ignored half of what I said and just kind of came up to their own conclusion. But I mean, that's to be expected when it comes to bodybuilding. When you got big, beefy, juiced up guys, everybody just wants to say it's the gear right off the bat. Anything happens, it's the gear. The gear did this, gear did that. It's just how it goes, and you kind of just get used to it when you're a bodybuilder because people just kind of throw that at you no matter what. So I don't really trip on that, but I just want to get the proper information out there. I don't want people to think one way or the other. I just want people to get the facts straight, you know what I'm saying? That being said, pneumonia is not caused by gear use. It's just not how it goes. Pneumonia and gear use don't go hand in hand, okay? You don't get pneumonia from using gear or being a bodybuilder or eating a bunch of calories or doing a bunch of cardio or lifting heavy weights. Pneumonia does not come from that, okay? You get pneumonia the same way you would get a flu or get a cold or something like that, okay? It doesn't work that way. So bodybuilding doesn't lead to pneumonia, okay? It doesn't work that way. So let's get those two things separated, okay? Being a bodybuilder doesn't give you pneumonia or lead to pneumonia, okay? So that's first and foremost. I don't know if people kind of just didn't notice that or what the case is. Now, I've seen comments that people said, how bodybuilders seem to get pneumonia a lot. That's not a very valid assessment. If you follow the fitness industry and that's who you follow, obviously that's all you're gonna see. You're gonna see fitness people doing fitness stuff, right? Where you'll see fitness injuries, you'll see fitness deaths, you'll see fitness, people getting sick. You know why? Because people get sick, people die, and that goes across the boards. But when you follow fitness and you feel like, well, this only happens to fitness people, well, because that's the only people, that's the majority of the people you follow. If you follow football players and you follow every single football player and every single upcoming guy or whatever the case is, and every single retired football player and all the legends and everything, well, then what you'll see is football players getting sick and football players dying. Whatever industry you follow, that's what you're gonna see, right? So just because a couple of bodybuilders got pneumonia within the past year doesn't mean pneumonia is this bodybuilding disease that goes passed around, you know what I'm saying? So it doesn't work that way. So those of you who think it works that way, Google it or go talk to your doctor and ask them questions, and they'll inform you that it's just not the case, okay? It's just not how it works. So that's one thing I want to get across. I even seen somebody commented that gear use weakens your immune system, makes it easier to get pneumonia, and that's actually the opposite. Gear, especially test, boosts your immune system. That's why they give it to, HIV patients who have a really compromised immune system to kind of boost that up so they don't get sick as much. So that's actually false. So that's not the case neither. So just keep the two separate. It's just not related, okay? I assure you it's not related. I've spoken to my doctors at length. It's not related. Obviously, there's gonna be people that, this will just go right over their heads because they already have their agenda that they want to push, and that's cool. You're free to believe what you want to believe. I'm not a doctor, and I'm not here to convince anybody anything. I'm just spreading knowledge and just letting people know what happened to me, and letting people know how they can prevent things like this from happening to them, and just being healthier about the sport in general. That's my agenda. So if you have a different agenda, that's up to you, and that's cool too. But I just wanted to make that clear in case somebody wasn't sure, you know, how that works. So bodybuilding doesn't cause pneumonia. That's first and foremost. Completely separate. So that's out the way. As far as the rhabdomyolysis, some people were asking, did I have that before I got to the hospital, or because I was sedated for so long, is that what caused the rhabdo? Honestly, the doctors never made that clear. I don't know if they were completely sure. But one thing I could say is, while I was sick, I was getting weaker. I felt like I wasn't holding on to the amount of muscle that I usually would when I'm dieting. I personally think that the pneumonia was, well, I don't think it was a fact. The pneumonia, not only did it, you know, completely fill my lungs with fluid, but it was giving my heart more work to do. So I wasn't getting the proper oxygen that I needed. And muscles require oxygen. So if you're not getting the proper oxygen, you're not gonna get the same growth or performance that you would get with the oxygen. So I personally think the pneumonia was actually making me lose muscle, okay, personally. So I think that was one of the points of where the rhabdo came from. And then on top of that, once I got to the hospital and I was, you know, put to sleep, and I was just laying there for 5 days, and then I woke up and I was still laying there for another 5 days. When you have as much muscle as I have, yeah, you're gonna get some muscle waste. And if you're there and you don't have much muscle to begin with, it won't make much of a difference because there's not a lot of muscle for you to lose. So it's not gonna affect your kidneys the way rhabdo does. You know, you barely have any muscle to lose, so it's not like your body has to break down this muscle. Muscle is protein, right? So if you lose 40 pounds of muscle, your kidney has to, you know, process all this protein. 40 pounds. It's like trying to eat 40 pounds of protein in 5 days. Imagine the workload that's putting on your organs, right? So same way, if you're losing 40 pounds of muscle, you know what I'm saying? Your kidneys have to filter that out. So it puts a lot of stress on your kidneys. Having so much muscle mass and not being able to retain it because of the pneumonia and not moving and all of that good stuff. I think that's what made the rhabdo so severe. Whereas if I was a skinny guy, I wouldn't have that issue with the rhabdo. So, you know, that's my conclusion based off the circumstances I was going through of why I got the rhabdo. I don't think I got it from overtraining. Anybody who trains extremely hard is probably overtraining to a point, but I personally don't think I'm gonna train so hard that I'm gonna give myself rhabdo. I personally don't believe that my body works that way, and most people's bodies would work that way. But I think when your body is already compromised, like mine was from the pneumonia, and then you're pushing yourself so hard on so little calories, while your body's trying to fight off this illness, yeah, that's gonna be overworking your body for sure, and that can definitely do it. So I think it was more of that. I don't think, you know, some people were nervous, like, oh, maybe I should cut back my volume or cut back my weights. Trust me, you're not training it as hard as I train. I know me and Eric talk about the fluff and puff thing a lot, and we kind of joke about it. Anybody that knows me knows I train hard as hell, you know. Anybody that's ever seen me train for real or watches, you know, videos on my channel, man, I do heavy ass deadlifts, I do heavy squats, I do heavy bench pressing. I move some serious weight around for a good amount of reps. And I do that with a lot of volume and not a lot of rest time. So I train pretty hard, you know what I'm saying? So the fluff and puff thing, there is a lot of truth in it. And when you get to a certain level, you're gonna need to throw some fluff and puff in there to build a well-rounded physique. But when you're just trying to build muscle, yeah, you're gonna need some, push some decent weight and just some basic movements, yeah. When you try to bring up weak body parts and whatnot, the basic movements are not gonna cut it. You know, if you're doing basic movements, your body's not gonna grow evenly. Nobody's body grows evenly. So you're not gonna just grow perfectly even, balanced physique. So if you're doing the heavy compound movements and then you have no legs and you have huge arms, you gotta switch something up, you know what I'm saying? The squats aren't doing the job as far as building your legs. So maybe do more volume on the squats, maybe try hack squats, and you gotta mix it up. You gotta mix it up at that point. But if you're just trying to build as much muscle and you're not worried about the balance or flow or stepping on stage with striated glutes and everything, yeah, just push some heavy weight, you know, with good form, basic movements, and you'll put on muscle. Anyway, I'm veering off the point, but yeah, anybody that knows me knows I train extremely hard. If you ever trained with me, you know how I train. I'm not all fluff and puff, you know, it's not how I train all the time. There's a time for it, and there's a time that I move some serious weight. I don't think that caused the rap though, personally. I think it was just a combination of things. But yeah, I just think it's a shame that when it comes to bodybuilders, like, people are really harsh, man. People are really harsh, and it's sad to see. I know these people don't really matter. Like, trolls don't really matter. Like, obviously trolls have no life. If they did, they wouldn't spend so much time watching videos and following people just to comment hateful stuff. So, like, obviously, you know, they're probably not doing too well in life. If they were, they would be too busy to have time for that, right? I barely have time to check my own comments, let alone watch people's videos and comment nonsense. So I'm sure it's a tough life being a troll, but it's still sad to see, like, somebody like Matt Porter, very popular bodybuilding coach, passed away, and then you see some of the comments, and it's sad that people, like, are almost waiting for a bodybuilder to die just so they can say, aha, you see, I told you so, or I knew it, you know, this bodybuilding is bad for you, it's gonna kill you. Like, you're waiting for somebody to die just so you can have, like, an aha moment. Like, it's like the most, I don't know, it's dumb. Not only is it dumb, but it's like, it's weird that people think like that. Like, I just can't relate. Maybe it's just weird to me, but I just can't relate with that. Why do you want people to get hurt so bad just so you can get that aha moment and feel good about yourself? Yeah, you see, that's why I don't bodybuild. Well, stop following bodybuilders and, like, stop watching their videos, and just, if you hate it so much, just don't worry about it. Just focus on something you like instead. I guess you can't relate unless you just have nothing to do, you know. I have a lot to do, so I don't have time to do that. But even if I did have time to do that, I'm, as a kid, you know, as a teenager at least, when I was first on YouTube, like, I would watch a bunch of videos, and I had a bunch of free time, and I would just try to learn from these people. Like, why would you not want to learn from people bigger than you and stronger than you? So, I don't know, man. It's times change. People don't really have a lot of respect for people's lives and health and things. It's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy, but I personally think people like that just never had anything real happen to them. You know, when you've had people around you, friends, family, pass away, or if you've had near-death experiences yourself, like, the way you look at life and value life and things you think about are a lot different from people who are probably entitled or just never had any tragedy in their life. They kind of, like, you know, they just don't understand life or really understand how fragile it is. You know, you could be typing trolling 1 second, and next second you're dead. But, you know, unless you've been through real shit in life, you probably just don't understand life. I think most of these trolls or people that leave some of these comments, they just have no life, and they just never been through anything real in life. They just living in a little bubble and doing their own thing. But it comes to everybody. Like, things are gonna happen in your life that's gonna teach you some valuable lessons, and I think most of these people are gonna grow out of it eventually. But it's sad to see. It's sad to see people have so much hate toward the bodybuilding lifestyle. It's not for everybody. You don't have to do it, but the hate is just kind of weird. It's kind of weird to me. On to the next subject. Still got some gains. Still got a little bit of gains. A lot of people telling me, yeah, focus on your health. Don't worry about the bodybuilding, things like that. I appreciate all the love and support, but obviously health has to come first. You know, it's just, I know these things. I can't control catching pneumonia. That's something I can't control. I could do my best to keep my immune system healthy, but if you get it, you got it. It is what it is. You'll be surprised how much people get pneumonia. A lot of people don't talk about it, but me going through this and talking to a lot of different people about it, it's alarming how many people had pneumonia and had, like, really close to death experiences with pneumonia. But believe it or not, I'm very health conscious, very health conscious. You can ask anybody who knows me personally. You can ask Eric. I'm always the health guy, always talking about health this, health that. So trust me, I take my health very seriously, and I wouldn't do anything to compromise my health. It makes no sense. You know, a pro card isn't worth compromising your health. Any show or any trophy isn't worth compromising your health. Nothing, honestly, is worth. Even money isn't worth compromising your health. You know, I'm fully aware that I appreciate the love. I got this, okay? I'm not compromising my health in any way. I know what I'm doing. I do everything very safely. I know exactly what I'm doing. Obviously, right now, I'm taking a break from everything. You're gonna be watching Natty Beatty for quite a while. You're gonna be watching some Natty action. You'll be surprised. My muscle memory is real, and you'll be surprised how soon a lot of the muscle is gonna come back. Not all of it. I'm not gonna be 300 pounds or anything like that. You know, no time in the near future. But you'll be surprised how fast the fullness and hardness is gonna come back. Every video I make, you're gonna see some more fullness, hardness. Now, the weight on the scale isn't necessarily going up. It might go up 1-2 pounds. But when it comes to atrophy, as much atrophy as I've had, just getting back the fullness, density, and hardness, you know, and dropping some water weight and fat, your whole body composition and look changes so much just by getting back in the gym from not moving at all. So you'll see a lot of changes physically without a lot of changes on the scale. I don't really show my weight because I don't think it matters, and people get too caught up in that, and people get a little weird about that sometimes. I don't know why, but I mention my weight sometimes. Sometimes I show it, sometimes I don't. Depends how I'm feeling. The weight isn't really moving much, 1-2 pounds here and there, but my look is completely changed. I don't know if the camera picks it up from last video to this video, but I've made a lot of changes just in the past week alone, just visually. That's gonna bounce back really quick. The strength comes back really quick, and with the muscle memory, man, I could put on a lot of muscle being Natty, just because I've been there before. My body has, you know, held and maintained that kind of muscle before, and it's gonna make it a lot easier for me to actually hold that muscle now. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna train. I'm not gonna overexert myself. I'm gonna get my cardio up. The doctors want my cardio to be at 100%, and so do I. You know, I want to feel good, so I want my cardio to be up, you know, the best it can be right now. So that's what I'm gonna do. Yeah, so far so good. I feel great. Had a doctor's appointment. Everything went well. Blood work came back good. Just got a few more appointments, follow-ups, to make sure everything's good and everything's going back to normal, which it seems to be bouncing back to normal. I'm gonna give myself the rest of the year, you know, off, and just working out and kind of just eating when I'm hungry, and just give my body a break. I've been doing this I'm young, but I've been doing this for a while, the whole bodybuilding thing, as far as the lifestyle. Competing, not as long. I want to say 3-4 years now. I only do one show a year, so I don't do a bunch of shows. I just do one show a year. So yeah, the competing part, not as long, but the lifestyle, I've been doing it for a very long time. So this is actually a much needed break, and I'm gonna try to enjoy this break and just make different kind of content. I'll still show my workout footages, but it's not gonna be as heavy as you've seen in the past, or as intense as you've seen in the past. But I guess that's relative. It's probably heavy for some people, but for me and my standards, not really that impressive. But I'll show it regardless. At least you can see my progress, or you can see how far back I went from being in the hospital. And you know, there's no shame in my game. I'll show you guys anything. I'm not embarrassed to share anything with you guys, so keep asking questions. But anyway, I think I covered what I wanted to cover. If I left anything out, I'll cover it in the next video, no big deal. Leave some more comments. I'm more than willing to answer you guys' questions. Nothing is off limit. Like I said, just show me some respect. If the comment is disrespectful or trolling, I'm obviously not gonna answer it. So if you want me to answer your question, at least, if you just want to troll, that's one thing. If you want me to respect you, show me some respect as well. And just ask me whatever question you're gonna ask me, you know what I'm saying? Man to man, and I answer your question. It's not that difficult, you know. I love you guys. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys for the next video. Peace. Woo! Gains.